Heads to the lines, who's up, who's down. We're crunching the numbers, calling the plays, talking all sports in a big time way. Yeah, yeah. Spreadsheet Sports, let's ride.
Welcome back to Spreadsheet Sports. It is what date is it? It's the 19th. So it is the 19th, and we have 11 games today. Thank you guys for definitely coming out for support. Those that like, comment, share, subscribe. I had a nice little bump of viewership on yesterday. So I'm definitely appreciative of that for those that came here. You could have went anywhere else, but you came here. Hope you guys got some value out of yesterday. I'm going to share with you guys the value that I got out of yesterday. Yesterday was a good day. It was a good day. It's a good night. We definitely had some upsets yesterday that I was able to capitalize on. And I'll share that with you more in detail. But man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. If I can find some matchups as we move through March Madness, I think I'm going to be A-OK. But that's what I'm looking at for what we're going to do. But anyway, let me start running my mouth. We're going to jump right into the show. I got obviously money lines for you. I got spreads for you. I got the dogs for you. And on top of that, we're going to go over my record, what I did right, what I did wrong, what the market trends look like, all of the above. So we're going to dive right into it. That way you don't have to waste time listening to me. You can get to the real stuff that you came here for. So let's go ahead and get started. Yesterday's activity was actually probably not too big of a difference. I didn't see the needle move that much. Everything pretty much stayed the same. I mean, right now where we are in regards to how the market is moving is a couple different things. But here's just to give you an idea of what it looks like. There's two ways to look at this, right? So you have, when it comes to the winners, what their KPIs or what their signature frequency is, right? I look at this more so as a frequency than anything else, but where they are right now, the people that won on yesterday. And as you see the trend, they've been winning. The winners are in this bucket, right? They are getting at least 22 points in defensive rebounds, right? They're getting defensive rebound difference between what they convert and what the other team convert. They are at least negative 1% or better. When it comes to the win-loss ratio at home or on the road, they have to be at least 72% or more. And if you get this far, you should have an even smaller list if you're shaving, right? And then literally projected points should be around 76 points. And then fast break points should be about 13 points or higher. And if you still haven't figured out who it is at that point, then you can use the average projection, which is going to be more so around 59% of a winning probability or higher, right? That's what you're looking at when you're looking for a winner. As you see, like I said, they didn't really move too much. It literally is all in the same place. Business as usual. Only thing that really kind of got a slight bump was the defensive rebound difference. We saw the winners actually do better in defensive rebounds than their opponent, but only a slight increase. When it comes to the dogs, right? With the dogs, you're looking at parameters of them at least winning 2 out of the last 3 games. They need to at least have 22 defensive rebounds. Let me specify defensive rebounds over just rebounds. They have to have at least 22 defensive rebounds or more. But the difference in defensive rebounds only has to be around negative 10%. That's a plus. Versus on the other one, it's a lot stricter where it's like right at 0%, right? For the winners, the win-loss home ratio, 65%. That's a little bit less than what it would be for a winner. Obviously, these are people that aren't most ideal to win, right? And the books don't think that they'll win, but that's just what it is. And they need to also have at least 74 projected points, and they need to have at least 10 fast break points or more. Um, and here's the good thing. They can have at least a 46% chance of winning. So if you got anybody that you're looking at websites, like if you're not doing the data the way I'm doing it from raw, like a raw version of it, and I correlate it, I dissect it, I analyze it, compartmentalize it. If you're not doing all of that from this rawest form to right now, then when you're looking at these people that are selling you bets, or you're looking at people that are giving away free picks or whatever, you need to pay attention to how are they giving you that information, right? Because if they give you the how part, then part of what them giving you the how is going to be what the probability of winning. So if they're telling you that it's around 46% of a chance to win, these are where you're entering the dog section where it's like, you know what, maybe not, right? Um, but yeah, that's what we're working with right now in regards to like your dogs versus your winners. Um, just small things that you want to notice as you're watching the marketplace, because these are going to be the biggest things for you, especially looking through a lot of games. Like when we were at like 150 games on a Saturday, I had to have this digitized in my selection process, literally, so that I know how to identify who's a possible winner, not a guaranteed winner, because nothing's guaranteed in the world of sports betting or viewership, right? Um, but that's just my 2 cents on that. Let's dive into what my record might look like. My record was actually impressive to me. The biggest thing yesterday that I got so excited about, like if you go back and look at the old show, you'll see everything that I projected, and I'll start doing that in the shows moving forward. I will bring those actual selections back over on the next day, but I hit all my money lines yesterday. I hit all my money lines yesterday. Oh God! When I opened that app up and I saw all that cha-ching, I was like, "Oh, woo, boy." Yeah, I smell a nice vacation coming up for the summer. Man, it was a good day yesterday. It was a good day yesterday of just really identifying the contenders. They were some dogs. Alabama, after Alabama State hit, I was like, oh boy, I'm on one. And then the rest of the night goes through, and I was heavy on Arkansas State. And when you saw me talking about that yesterday, you probably could tell I was heavy on Arkansas State. I would have bet my house on that if I could have yesterday. But it's all fun and games. If you're not doing this for fun, I don't know what to tell you. Like the moment that it becomes about like money, then you lost. Like this whole thing, I've been made money a long time ago. Like I'm at a different place now where I'm just trying to have like fun with a hobby of looking at numbers. Um, if you're doing this to try to make money, man, your tenure in this is going to be very short lived. I'm just trying to get better, and I'm trying to understand the science of this whole marketplace better. If I do that the byproduct of me getting better and learning more and improving my strategy and improving my understanding, the byproduct of that is I make money. Don't focus on money. Money's not real. It's just fake paper. Um, it's just paper. It's just money. Um, but anyway, let's get back to sports and talking about analyzing and data. As you see, like I said, I got 100% on my money line. I sucked yesterday on spreads. Sucked horribly. Horribly. I'll be back though. I'm coming back with a vengeance tonight. Um, 89% on my points bets. Mm, 75% on my total. Points back. Remember I told you yesterday, I was like, man, I gotta figure this out. I'm not saying I figured it out yesterday. The only way to know if I figured it out is over the next 3 days of evaluating how I'm doing on that. One day don't mean anything. And hell, 3 days of watching it don't really mean anything. Consistency is everything in this. And even when you think you're consistent, you better make some adjustments and really always, always, always be self-evaluating yourself. There ain't no freebies in this. Either you know what you're doing and you get it right and you're rewarded, or you don't know what you're doing and you lose big and you'll lose it all. Anyway, moving along. Yesterday was amazing. I'm on the right track. You see what I'm making my progress in. I'm so excited about it, and I look forward to the rest of March Madness. This is going to be amazing. And then baseball is on the way. Baseball is crazy. Baseball is crazy. Baseball is I think I might love baseball more than I love football. And I can't explain it. I can't explain it. But anyway, we'll get into that later when we do the content for baseball when we get there. But let's dive into some of these games and let's see what we're working with for today. On our slate for today, had to do a couple things a little bit differently for you guys. So here's what I did, right? Surveying the games, we only had 11 games to really look at, right? I found a variety of different games for us to look at for entertainment value, like if you're looking for a good game to watch, as well as like who I think would win. I'm going to throw a prediction out there. I think that tonight's going to be a huge, huge plus cheese night. I think so. We'll see what happens. But last night, there were a handful of upsets. I think tonight's going to be a lot of upsets for the non-invited and for the regular tournament. I think Sanford is going to win tonight. I think Florida Atlantic is going to win tonight. I think Furman is going to win tonight. It's a long one. It's a stretch. Texas, I think Texas wins tonight. I was just talking to somebody about it today. Xavier just doesn't. Xavier's problem is more so with this injury than anything else. I think they have a game time decision. We're going to pull that game apart, but I'm just not sold on Texas losing that game. I think they can beat Xavier. Utah Valley, I think they're going to win as well. And as you see, the problem is that these would normally be games I talk about in my dog section, right? But for the sake of this, we're looking at like this is what it is for the money line odds for plus cheese for all of these games, right? I only found one that was minus 106, right? Which scares me because it's only 11 games and I have 5 games here that are going to be, 4 games here that are going to be upsets. The money lines that were minus on the spread, on the payout, on the odds, they weren't attractive, and some of them were just blown out like negative. I mean, minus 490 or whatever. Nobody's taking that. And if you're watching the games for entertainment, you're not taking that because it's like, what am I going to do with that? So anyway, this is what I'm looking at. I mean, I'm going to give you the dog breakdown in that section, but these like for the 2 that I pulled out the minus game with Florida Atlantic, and I also pulled out a plus cheese game. So let's dive into that and let's pull those apart and see what they look like. Dayton, Florida Atlantic. Remember, always look at your locations. Always look at your locations, especially now. I know it'll be more prevalent on tomorrow once everybody's getting into these different neutral arenas, but for tonight, I think you only got like 2 games where they're going to be in a neutral location. Everybody else is playing their traditional home court advantage. But for this game, Dayton and Florida Atlantic, let's pull it apart. Let's see what we got here. When I first looked at this, I was like, I don't really know what I'm looking at. because on one hand, Dayton looks like they can win, and on the other hand, Florida Atlanta look like they can win, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. Like when you pull this apart, um, you got Dayton with winning 43% of their games on the road now, right? And you got Dayton has around 75% of their roster are upperclassmen, and then on top of that, 67% of the last three games is their record. Pretty impressive, right? So with that being said, you're looking at a scenario where you're like, oh, they might be outdoing them, right? Florida Atlanta still is pretty much spot on the same. But here's where it gets a little bit more detailed is that literally you got Florida Atlantic wins the offensive points. Dayton wins the defensive points. Rebound, assists, and 3-point attempts is won by Florida Atlantic. And then 36% is for 3-point percentage. And field goals and field goal percentage belongs to Florida Atlantic. With that being said, then winning most of the categories, that's ultimately what makes me lean more towards Florida Atlantic. But I want to check myself on that. Like, am I on to something? Am I off? I mean, Dayton is a number two team, but they're more so of a number four in the conference ranking versus Florida Atlantic. That's a number five team for conference ranking and a number three team in Florida Atlantic. Both of them have a decent winning record. But the science of it all says the math says that Dayton is the team that wins, right? Florida Atlantic has more injuries, but even though they have more injuries, you got to kind of dig a little bit deeper on what does that mean that they have more injuries, right? When I'm looking at that game more in detail, like Florida Atlantic and Dayton also show you that you just don't know what you're getting, right? Um, and what I mean by that is that Dayton and Florida Atlantic both do quite well with fast break point conversions, right? If they get the defensive rebound, they're going to do well with getting it and turning it into a basket. They do a lot of fast breaks, both to the point that both of them getting 12 points in fast break points. But then when you look at like who does better on defensive rebounds, I mean Florida Atlantic does more rebounds and they convert. So that's scary because they'll make this a fast-paced game. But then Florida Atlantic is the one that got the injury problem. They got three people on game time decision. If they show up, then Florida Atlantic is the team. If they don't, then Houston, we have a problem. Okay. That's just the reality of that situation. Um, I want to go Florida Atlantic. Part of me is telling me it's Dayton. Part of me is telling me it's Dayton. The only thing that really like shoots Dayton down, what shoots Dayton down is their win-loss ratio on the road. I think that is the dagger in the heart for me where I'm like, nah, Florida Atlanta ain't it. Dayton is it. But I'm gonna stick to Florida Atlantic. My gut is telling me that after reviewing, I don't like to use my gut, but I just kind of like deductive reasoning. Florida Atlanta is that's what I'm going with. I think that they are the team. I'm not even calling it from a perspective of like who's a dog and who's not. Like even the books don't even know which way this is going to go. Um, we'll see. It's a good game. Either one. It's kind of like a pick 'em where you literally can grab either one of them and be okay. Um, but I found that one for us. The next game, Xavier and Texas. Xavier and Texas game. I'm kind of like in a scenario where I'm like, well, as always, let's pull it apart, right? I have to always do that systematically. And starting at the very beginning of it, both of the teams suck when it comes to winning at home and on the road. So there's no advantage there. Both of them have upperclassmen, except Xavier has more upperclassmen. Both of them won the last 2 out of 3. So let's put all of that to the side. It's like, okay, that's over here, right? How are they with activity? With activity, Xavier is winning that battle. They win 9 out of the 7 categories. And remember, my categories are always what? Offensive points, defensive points, rebound, assist, 3 point attempt, 3 point percentage, field goal attempt, field goal percentage, and then the scientific math, right? The probabilities part of it. That's that part. Xavier wins that. Xavier is going to have the same problem as what I see with Dayton and Florida Atlantic. I think that Florida Atlantic is has a chance to win. I can't tell you that they will. In this game, I can tell you that I think Texas has a chance to win. Doesn't mean that they will. Where I see them having a chance to win is the 12 points they get in decent defensive rebounds. Not defensive rebounds, in the fast break points. Where else do I see opportunity? In the fast break conversion. They convert almost half of any of the defensive rebounds or turnovers that they get on a fast break. Just not as good as Xavier, but they do it. If Xavier has a bad game with this whole thing with the injury, because his injury is costing them about 14 points, right? And even with that being said, I mean, what's the best that Xavier could hope for? Best they could hope for is that um, Mr. Trey Green, right, who is only 5 points of that 14, he can give you that 5 if he is game time decision. If he's game time decision and he's back, then yeah, y'all are. If you are on here and you're watching and you're an Xavier fan, then yeah, okay, it just makes it that much easier for you guys because you do a good job with moving the ball around with assists, right? Even so good that it's better than Texas. But if you don't have this young man, you put yourself in a vulnerable situation where that might not be the best thing for you. But either way, neither here nor there. Texas has a chance to win. Xavier is the favorite team. I see why they are, but I still don't want to write Texas off. Um, I think they fight to the very end. I also think this is going to be somewhat of a I think it's like a high scoring game, but not an extremely high scoring game. It's not going to be in the hundreds. I think it's anywhere between 70 to 80 points for each team, anywhere from 140 to 150 on total points. I wouldn't take that 153. I would probably lean more towards under 153. I think it's going to be around 140 to 150. I don't think it's going to go over 150. I could be wrong, but that's just where I'm thinking just because of the defensive efforts of both teams. But good luck on this one. Good luck on this one. These are the two easiest of the money lines I could find for us to review. Let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you think this is close, if it's on, if it's off, let me know. Because I'm still kind of scratching my head on both of these games. As I mentioned with the original list of money line games that we were looking at, if you notice, some of those are on this list, right? And some of these are going to be on the dog list, right? We almost hit the dogs, but let's get through this spread. Okay, let's talk about the spreads. UAB plus 4.5, Furman plus 7.5, Northern Iowa plus 10.5, Texas plus 1.5, UC Irvine minus 6.5, and Utah Valley plus 7.5. Okay, this is where I'm at with it. And even if you are in the betting world, again, I'm not giving you betting advice, but if you wanted to try to think on your feet, if you looking at those other games I showed you from money line that were plus cheese, and if you're really scared to pull the trigger on the plus cheese, there's some value over here with the plus spread, even to the point where you can buy up your spread from a 7.5 to a 9.5. I got some of those late last night around 3 or 4 in the morning. I did catch some pretty good deals for some plus cheese on some of the positive spreads and just moving them up. I didn't think I would be able to pull it off, but I was. So I'm going to make some more though today and see what I come up with or see what's out on the marketplace. You know, it changes by the minute, but um, overall, I think the competitiveness of each one of these teams to not give up for the for the plus odds because we only got UC Irvine, which is a favorite, right? I'm scared of 6.5. If I can find it at -4.5, and then maybe I add on team points, like I would take UC Irvine for like 71 or more for individual points and -4 -4.5 on the spread. I like that combination together than I would be at -6.5 and taking 75 points. And that's a little too rich for my blood, but let's dive in and let's pull these two games apart that I found for us for the spreads and see how that works. And then we're going to get to the most favorite part is the dogs. Furman, North Texas. What do we do with that? What do we do with that? Do you guys, I mean, like in the comment, tell me how you feel about this game and the next game when it comes to the spreads. I mean, even after I break it apart, I'm gonna tell you why I think we're looking at what we're looking at for the spreads for this game. Furman and North Texas, how I feel about that based off of the data goes like this. When you start pulling it apart, North Texas seems to be your team, right? Because North Texas is at 93% for win-loss at home. Furman is at 67%. So they are winners. North Texas, 69% are upperclassmen. 50% of the roster for Furman are upperclassmen. That's where I pause. And that's where I'm like, are the lights going to be too bright for these young men? And they're not going to be able to keep their discipline? Maybe, maybe not. They have won 25 games this season as a somewhat young team. You can't take that away from them, right? Then when you look at how they performed in the last 2 out of 3, better than North Texas, right? I'm still not ready to literally cancel North Texas, right? And like really lean hard on Furman. And where I'm not is because of the science, but I want to dispel the science of it. Like, really, you see the science. You see that 72 points is projected for North Texas. They think that's going to be more than Furman. But the only way they pull that off is because they have a really great defense. They have a great defense and a mediocre offense. That combination together against a Furman that has an okay to better than okay offense and a not bad but good enough defense. Those two mixes and matches, I don't know. But getting back into it, Furman knocks out all the other categories. It's just the defense that I'm worried about. Defensive rebounds, crashing out, crashing the boards, things of that nature. But even outside of North Texas having the science on their side, um, I saw a couple other things that I was looking at, and I was like, who's really going to win the hustle battle? And the answer to that question is nobody. They're neither one of these teams are hustlers, right? Like Furman just wins their categories, but they not the defensive board team. Like they get you 24 defensive rebounds, whereas North Texas only gets them 20. I see North Texas being lazy in that aspect. If they can't step it up and only getting 35% of the fast break converted over to a point, they only get you 7 points on the fast break. 7 points on fast breaks is not enough. Like you got teams literally doubling that type of production, and they only do 7. So they're going to be relying heavily on threes, setting up plays. It's not going to be a lot of fast plays and a lot of transition. I see it kind of being a boring game, but even with it being a boring game, I still like Furman. Not only I know I'm supposed to talk about just literally these games and not bleed over into the money into the dogs, but I almost wanted to put Furman and North Texas in my dog section because I just think that Furman is the dog in this. Not because of how they are like disrespectfully given plus 310. I almost feel like the books are giving us money. I feel about this game like I did about Arkansas State yesterday. I don't think North Texas can beat Furman. I don't. I don't think the one plus of North Texas having is their defense. I don't think that's enough. I know defense wins championships and all that other cliches and stuff that sounds cute when you say it, but you got to have more than that. You got to have more than that. And I just don't know. Moving along, because no injuries, nothing to talk about with injuries. So moving along to our next game, Northern Iowa, SMU. I have to take my bias out of SMU mainly because I have definitely done some good things this season with SMU. I got a short list of teams that have been such a blessing to me, but SMU is on that list, along with BYU. You have to know my story to know about BYU, but SMU is on that list of teams that have been like really good to me. Sam Houston's another one that's on that list. Every time I say they're going to do something, these three teams do exactly what I think they're going to do, which I love. But with Northern Iowa, when you look at them as a team, they don't do well on the road. SMU does really well at home, though, when it comes to wins and losses. Both of the teams are coming into this with only winning one out of the last three, which kind of leaves the argument of should they even be here, but they are. SMU has more upperclassmen, which is a plus, whereas Northern Iowa coming in with 50%. It's almost like they're Furman, right? But this is a different game. Furman doesn't have the upperclassmen, but they have all the production. Northern Iowa doesn't have the classmen, and they don't have any of the production, or they don't win those matchups in the production. Because SMU got the upperclassmen and they are doing well in production. With North Texas, I'm only thinking that they pull this out because the seniors or the juniors together run their system. They have the discipline. The lights aren't too bright, and that's how North Texas could pull that off. And that's a could, not that they're going to. With SMU, they have the upperclassmen and they knock out all the categories in the box, and they win at home. How do you fight that? The only thing that really would be a concern for me with SMU and Northern Iowa is going to be the injuries involved in this game. Like literally, when you look at the injuries, right? You got what's that? One injury, one game time decision for SMU. But even with that being said, I don't even see that as a disadvantage. You're talking about one person that gives you 6 points. That's not going to be a make or break scenario. It's really not. SMU is much better when it comes to fast break conversions. Like they get it done. They converting like 60%. SMU is a fast break team. If Northern Iowa can't keep up, because Northern Iowa was only giving them 8 points on the fast breaks, they only converting 36% of the turnovers and the defensive rebounds. That's not going to be enough. SMU is going to run these guys down. Literally. They just don't have a better defense than Northern Iowa. But other than that, they're going to keep it fast paced, I think. And we'll probably see them might play ropey dope until the first half. And in the second half, SMU is going to unleash the Kraken. And they're going to stomp a mud hole in these guys. Kind of like last night with Arkansas State. I didn't see them winning by the spread that they did win by. I just thought they could do it by 6, not I think it was 20 last night. Crazy. But anyway, dealing with this game, what can I say about it? I don't know. I think I'm going with Northern Iowa. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Executive decision. Scratch that off of my list. I would go with SMU. No, stick back to what I was saying. Northern Iowa plus 10.5. Find it for plus 12 to be safe. Plus 12.5 Northern Iowa on the spread. Don't take the money line. I don't think Northern Iowa has a chance to win. I think they have more of a chance to cover the spread and maybe even the team points. That's about all I see in their future. But good luck with this one. Like I said, you guys can use this to start your research on your own, but that's what I'm seeing with this game. And here we go with the dogs. I'm gonna get that sound effect for you guys, and I can knock out the barking for this particular part of the game, the show. Um, with the dogs, here's what I see: UAB, Sanford, Furman, Northern Iowa, Texas, Northern Colorado, Utah. I'm gonna make an on-show correction. Do not choose Northern Iowa. I am not going that way. I am not going that way. I am not going that way. Northern Iowa will not be one of my dogs. I'll still keep them for as a spread, but I'm not keeping them as a money line. But Northern Iowa still is in my dog list because I think that all of these teams are the fighters today, and they either cover the spread on the plus cheese, or they also win the game. I think you're gonna like the two games that I found where I think they may even win. But let's dive into that so I can share with you why I think that not only do they cover the spread and keep it competitive, but they also have a chance to win. You can tell me what you think. I could be completely wrong. Remember, I'm just a dummy on the internet, but let's see what we got for these two games. Here we go. UAB St. Joseph's. And if you notice something, both teams are highlighted green. I hate when the data does this, but this is how I have my formula set up based off parameters. It auto selects certain things in the text. Remember, I said a lot of this stuff is automated for me. I've been building this for close to 3 years and making adjustments after every game, after every season, and everything else. Merged with AI, having AI evaluate it and upgrade exactly, certain things that I'm doing a certain way, making new formulas, creating, modifying, augmenting formulas, a whole lot of different algorithms and so forth. So this is one of those cases. UAB and St. Joseph's are green, which like makes me have to really drill down on who I think may be able to pull this off. And at face value, St. Joseph's right now, okay, they are. This is going to be a dogfight, guys. And this is why I love this. This is going to be a dogfight at 7 o'clock. You're talking about a team that literally, you know, they won 2 out of the last 3. Most of the team are upperclassmen and seniors. And then on top of that, they have won only 50% of their games on the road. So there's that. Because when you look at St. Joseph's, they turn around and they give you the scenario where you like, well, how did they do, right? You try and figure out how St. Joseph does. You're looking at a team that is winning 2 out of their last 3. Only 40% of their roster are upperclassmen, but they win really good at home. Okay, that's their story. That's their situation. You know me by now. That bothers me about the lack of upperclassmen with St. Joseph. I'm not sure if the lights being too bright or if, they have the home court advantage part. So at least, well, no, they don't. They're actually in neutral territory. Whoop, there's that. So they're on the road, right? I think they're on the road, but I think they're on the road and they're on the road against UAB, and that's what we're dealing with, right? Now, in regards to how the matchup breaks down, you got the offensive points going to UAB along with the rebounds, assists, field goal attempts, and field goal percentage. They do very well. They're very effective and they're efficient. Okay. On the flip side of that, the young boys, St. Joseph, they actually do well with defense. They do well with defense, and on top of doing well with defense, they do well with 3-pointers. Now, they're not completely blown out on the rebounds, assists, or the field goals, but they are definitely they're losing those battles, but they're not dominated. With that being said, St. Joseph defense may be what keeps them in the game. The math thinks that St. Joseph wins this game, right? That's what they're thinking. The books think that St. Joseph wins the game as well. But then if we want to dig a little bit deeper, right, and you want to look at St. Joseph's under a microscope along with UAB, I think UAB out hustles St. Joseph. Injuries aren't a problem. Injuries are St. Joseph's problem. They have a game time decision. It's only 9 points on the line for it to be swapped out, but that's what they're looking at. I think that UAB is going to out hustle them. Remember I said earlier that like 9 is not enough for fast break points. UAB is putting up 16 points for fast breaks. They convert 70% of their fast breaks to points. You know how insane that is? A team coming in with that type of win record, right? And they have a lot of upperclassmen, and they number 3 in the American League. And on top of that, they win most of the matchup categories, and they're giving you 16 points in fast break. They out hustle you, and they don't have injuries. It's like it's almost like you want to be like, yeah, we don't even need to look at this game no more. This is over. I feel like Arkansas State yesterday when I look at this. Like literally, I'm checking all the boxes off, and it's like, what am I missing? What do I not see? Got to be something around the. It got to be something around the corner that I just don't notice or I don't see that's going to smack me in the face on this one, and I'm open to that, but I don't see it. I'm UAB on this one. This move on to the other dog. Utah Valley, San Francisco. Okay, here's my take on this. With Utah Valley and San Francisco, I'm at face value want to just go automatically Utah Valley, but let's flesh that out. Why do I think Utah Valley is going to win? Why wouldn't San Francisco win? The books think obviously San Francisco. The books think San Francisco is the team. Why do I think it's Utah Valley? Utah Valley wins 62% of their games at home and on the road. Utah Valley has 62% upperclassmen, which is more than San Francisco. The discipline is there. The lights aren't too bright. San Francisco has only won 1 out of their last 3 versus 2 out of the 3 for Utah Valley, right? San Francisco's coming in with winning all of their home games, right? But I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough. I'm not going to just be on some because it's the West Coast Conference and they're number 3 that they're better than somebody from the WAC that's number 4. I'm not going for that. I think that Utah Valley comes in, they some dogs, and they're going to stand up 10 toes down, and they're going to fight. The reason I think that is when you look really deep and you look at how they do on their matchup. We know about their record. We know about injuries, right? And I'm going to dive into injuries even more, which is on the bad side of San Francisco. And I think the books are misleading you from that perspective because right now San Francisco suffering with injuries and hurt players. Remember, there's injured and there's hurt. I think San Francisco got both hurt and injured players, which is the advantage for Utah Valley. We'll get into who that is in a minute, but let's not forget this. Utah Valley is winning on offense, defense, rebound, assists, 3-point percentage. They make more threes, but they just don't take as many as San Francisco. They don't take as many shots, but they make more than Utah Valley. They're efficient. You couple together efficiency with hustle, you have yourself a different conversation. Utah Valley is the hustler. They literally they're converting 54% of their turnovers and defensive rebounds into points on fast breaks. They are a team in transition versus San Francisco that only gets about 46% converted, right? Utah Valley also is giving them 13 points in fast breaks. I mean, granted, their rankings in their individual conferences are rather low, but I told y'all how I feel about that yesterday. That don't move me. Your rankings mean nothing to me. All I care about is how this lineup today is going to go down. It's a rubber ball. You got sneakers. I got sneakers. I bleed. You bleed. And let's just figure it out. I think that's where we are right now in the video game. Injuries. 2 game time decisions for San Francisco. Marcus Williams, the guard, giving them 15 points. in Weldo, Newberry giving him no points, so he's more of a somebody out for the season. But those 15 points gonna hurt if Marcus Williams can't come in to help Malik Thomas. I think San Francisco is in a world of hurt. If Marcus Williams does come in, game time decision, they stay competitive, and yeah, the math might be right, and San Francisco can win. But if he does not play, you heard it here first. Utah Valley not only will cover the 7.5, they're gonna win this game, and they might win this game and win it by 5 to 7 points on the other side of it. Just my take on the whole thing. But that's where I'm at with this game. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Whether I'm right, wrong, close, far away, warm, cold, potato, whatever. You know me, I'm easy like Sunday morning. But that's what I got for these two games for your dog. So that brings us to the end of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that the insight that we have all pulled together out of reviewing these games will be helpful for all of us that are viewing. I wish you the best this evening, the best of wishes and good luck. I hope you guys find the game that you want to watch. If you're doing it for entertainment, I hope that your teams individually that you root for, I hope they have a good game. And if not just a good game, they win and you can be happy. And for those that are speculating on the marketplace for the monetary value, I hope you bang and crack their head all the way open. And I hope that you have a great night tonight. I'm looking forward to one myself, so I'd be behest not to wish the same for you guys. So, as always, if you found value in the video, please like, comment, share, or subscribe, whatever order you like that to be in. Either one of them is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Please share this so we can grow our community. I'm just happy. I look forward to tonight. But I hope you guys enjoy the show. Hope you guys enjoy the night, and I will talk to you on tomorrow.
Yeah, lights on, game time, let's break it all down. From the spreads to the lines, who's up, who's down. We're crunching the numbers, calling the plays, talking all sports in a big